Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. For today's video, I wanted to talk to you about how the narcissist abuses you. So let's jump in. The narcissist, everything in relation to the relationship with a narcissist is going to be to abuse you. For them to siphon off your fuel, for them to get you to give it up, first they have to get you to let them in. And so that's why they have to form this mask and be so kind in the very beginning, because if they weren't kind in the very beginning, and if they weren't forming this mask to entice you, to drag you in, to draw you in, then you wouldn't be with them. And everybody knows that. But just to go a little deeper with it, they have to get you to love and to trust them. They come in as the victim to play that role the best. So they look as if they need assistance or they need help, or they've been injured and hurt their whole life. They've been the one that has paid a price and they didn't deserve it. And that's what gets you to let them in. And that's, of course, the beginning of this trauma bond, this love bombing. They love bomb you and tell you all these great things that you are, and they get you and your ego to be put on this pedestal they place you on, and then you end up treating them the same way back, giving them equal reciprocity. And then they lay off. But what you do is they pamper you and serve you in that stage, and then you do the same thing back because they're training you how they want to be treated. And then they back off from it all. You know, they play the hot and the cold, and they get you intertwined in all these crazy things. They find out what you want and what you like, and they are able to mirror it back to you very well. But that's all just to draw you in, to get you locked. Because if they can get you locked and hooked, then they know that they can continue to return back to you for future supply. And that's really what they're doing. They need it currently, and they're predators, right? Parasites. So they have this, it's a challenge type thing. They need a challenge. They want to be loved and cared for and be the center of your life. And that's what they position themselves to do. And by causing all these problems and getting you to second guess yourself after a while and doing the hot and cold with you, it gets you to drop all your boundaries and gets you to just accept whatever they're going to give or however they're going to treat you, just as long as you get to spend some time with them. That's how it ends up. And over time, you give up all of your moral and ethic things that you stand for. Your moral ethics all go down to nothing because you're accepting for them to do bad things to you, to treat you a certain way. You're accepting the projection. You have to accept everything that the mask or the false self desires. So when you go into the fantasy is to accept everything that the false mask desires, which would be you have to accept the projections they place on you. They have an opinion of you that they form, and that they want to make it come into fruition, so they continue to project themselves onto you. And that really, what they're trying to place upon you is themselves. They're actually projecting always themselves onto you so that they can become you. And when they get you to continue to pour out your fuel, your energy, then they're getting your soul energy, your soul fuel. The more, when you continue to pour out, it gets deeper and deeper into that fuel supply that you're giving to them. And at some point, they get those fuel sources that they're tapping into are your identity. And that's why when they walk away and leave you and you're all fogged up and clouded up and depressed and anxious and paranoid, you're also feeling as if you don't know who you are. That's because they've tapped into your identity and you gave it to them. Maybe it was unbeknownst to you, but this is the stuff that you consented to by being in covenant and contract and consent with them. Where you spend your time, where you spend your fuel is where your heart is also, really. So you want to be careful. I mean, it's something that I had to wake up to. And so I'm just giving it to y'all so that you have an understanding of where I'm coming from the understanding I got for myself, and it's true. I will not steer you wrong. This is wickedness. And what they're doing is they're trying to siphon off your energy and your existence, your identity, and then they pour their identity into you. Where you're empty, where they sucked you of your fuel, they replace it. You switch. You agree. When you agree to their projections and accept their fantasy and false mask, you're agreeing to all these types of things. You're agreeing to accept, this energy switch. It's a spiritual kind of consent. But, it also happens by the physical things that you do with your time and your money and your energy. So they do these things, and these are all forms of abuse, but they're to take you down and to make you become them. So when they smear you up and they character assassinate, you're going to be kind of, to some degree, acting like them, because that fuel that's on you and in you now that you're trying to burn off, you're going to be acting somewhat narcissistic from the ways that they did these things to you and got you in your ego. You're really cut off from your spirit, man, when you're with the narcissist. And that's what they do. They get you in an ego first. That cuts you off from spirit, your higher self. And then you're walking all over it with these red flags. You're denying it and denying it. And when you're denying it, you're accepting ego. And you're going into your emotional field with all this abuse and trying to understand them. You won't understand wickedness, truly, but there is a pathology to understand some of it. And this is what they do. They walk away with your fuel, they walk away with your energy, and they become you. And they character assassinate and smear up who they are in you. And that's easy to do because they know who they are. Then they wear your fuel for a time, and they take down other forms of supply with it as they act as you in your walking in your identity. And then, of course, you have to pay for the reaping and sowing for first going into covenant with them, and then secondly, for all the energy that they used from you that they're wearing as your identity and destroying people and manipulating others to get supply off of them, and they use and abuse them. You have to pay for some of that, and then you have to pay for the fuel that they put on you and placed on you. That's their fuel that you have to burn off. That's going to be negative as well. So it's almost like a trifold thing. And the whole scenario is all about abuse. And then you get into an addiction hood to where you come back for more. And this is what we did, y'all. But this is not just psychological. It's not just physical. There's a spiritual element to it. And then they have to keep cycling back around. That's why they cycle, because they need to re-up on that fuel. But they need to re-up on that fuel because they're losing the identity that they wore of you on them. And they're also filling up on the identity, their crappy identity of who they are and who they represent. And it's going to start to protrude beyond that mask if they don't find somebody to throw it off onto. So they'll recycle and reinstitute that witchcraft in you, that wickedness, as they project onto you again. You accept it, and they steal your identity again, y'all. So they can go out there and be powerful and walk in what looks like the fruits of the spirit because they're wearing your energy, because it's your energy. So they have the ability to look good, to act right for a time, but only until you cut them off and quit cycling with them will this end. I mean, you're going to ruminate. Rumination is for a time. Everything is a process, just like divorce is a process. You're going to have to go through the process of shedding yourself of the narcissist. But if you continue to focus on getting away, breaking the addiction, breaking from the fleshly desires that they tried to install and instill in you, and get back into thinking from your spirit, man, cut them off and reunite with God and put your spirit, man, in control again instead of your flesh and your emotions. You can start playing chess with them, and you can start to get this staved off and end it. But then when you do end it, what do you do then? Where do you go from there, right? Because the first thing you need to do, or you want to do, the best thing you could do, best advice I could give is to let them go. Find a way to let them go. And anytime you want to be with them, just, if you journal, well, what were the good things they did for you? Chances are there was none. What are the good characters that they represent? Chances are there none. How much did you really know them for you to love them? Chances are there's very little or none, because most of it was a lie anyway. So when you write and journal these things down, it helps you to vent, and then crumble it up and throw it away or burn it, whatever you want to do. Shred it. Don't send it to them. But you got to cut off everything from them. Don't look at their social media. Don't write to them. Don't text them. Don't call them. Don't answer. And don't listen to your mind if it tells you you miss them. You don't miss them. It's being put into your mind. And you got to understand that you've been dealing with this your whole life. So when you wake up to this, you're going to be able to find that there's other people with the same similar character around and about you. And so you'll shake them as well. And then you'll be able to work on becoming your true authentic self more than you already were. And, grow closer to God and grow closer to your authenticity in your life. That you can love and you can share good things with people, but you just have to vet them first. You're not going to you don't want to spend time people pleasing. You don't want to react. You want to learn to respond, and you'll mess up. But you don't want to accept anybody's energy as your own. You don't want to agree to do that. So when people anywhere try to project energy on you, negative energy, you got to separate the two. And that takes a while. But you got to find a way when that stress hits you from that energy, from whatever argument or situation you're going through, you got to refuse it and hold strong in who you are in your own energy. It's not mine, it's yours. You can't regulate everybody's emotions, and that's what they try to do. They try to throw their sin soul energy on you, and it switches and grabs fuel from you by being projected upon. But if you are peace at yourself, as you will eventually become, you will stop doing these things. You will stop people pleasing and just accept the world and life for what it is. And if you get away from these types of toxic individuals and you space yourself out from, say, friends and family that may be the same, and if you can, drop those toxic people totally, that's your best choice. And then just focus on, loving yourself to some degree more than you ever were, because a lot of times it was put into your head that that's what vain people do, but that's not true. There's a way to love yourself and not be vain, and give yourself confidence, believe in yourself, and you'll almost have to start over from all the things that you were taught in childhood and stuff, because they've tried to ingrain things in your head and make you to believe them, and some of them you did, and so you got to revoke them. And the new you is going to fall and get back up, but trying new things, not just going through the old motions. But it takes guts. Healing takes guts. And if you're doing other bad things to maybe, sometimes people self-medicate with alcohol or something like that, you'll stop doing those things as you get healing in your life, because you're going to find that that's not good for you either, and you're able to lay back and meditate and process these things and let them go. And then you won't have to deal with things that used to come up in your life, like depression or anxiety. And part of the problem is you allowed somebody to take control of your birthright. And what I always say now is I'm not trying to control your birthright, don't try to control mine. Because people try to encroach on your birthright, especially family, because they controlled it years ago. And they have formed opinions about you, and you have believed them, and everybody else believed them. And they put you in this shoebox, and they've decided this is as far as you can go. This is all that you can accomplish, and that you're doing it with their help, and they've been controlling you. They control you with guilt and with shame. They control you with finances. So you best to get off any financial support. If you were ever getting financial support or borrowing money or getting gifts, you don't want anything from these people. Just do it. You want to do it alone, and find your own support system, people that you can trust and let into your life, and know that you vetted them, because you don't want to be completely isolated after this either, because you need people to help you raise up off this. Good people, if you can find one or two people you can confide in that are going to be just. And also, if in fact you ever get in with another narcissist, God forbid, you'll have a support system of a couple people that will not allow this, that you can confide in, and they'll tell you this is the wrong person for you, and this is why. Because when you meet a narcissist, a lot of times, if you're an empath, you've been damaged or hurt so bad, you will have been isolating yourself to begin with, for the most part, because you don't want to deal with people. And so when the narcissist finds you, it's almost as if you did all the work already. You're isolated already. They don't have to isolate you. So you don't want to be completely isolated. Get involved in your church or in some sort of, group, or get passionate about you, your new life, and who the new you is, and work on empowering you And you can never help somebody to your own detriment. You can never help somebody and not get equal reciprocity or not get the right thanks and appreciation for doing it. That's the thing. The narcissist and entitlement, what comes with that is they don't appreciate you. They don't support you, and they don't feel like you went out of your way to sacrifice for them. People that truly care, they will acknowledge those things and give you utmost respect for that. That they will look at you as an asset. But people that look at individuals as an object have another thing going on, y'all. They have another thing going on. I mean, that's terrible, to look at somebody as an object and just so they can use and abuse and throw away whenever they want and come back and get accepted back in. So live your life, love, and don't give up on love and joy and peace, but work on those. Just don't give them away, and don't share them with individuals who don't deserve it. Thank you for watching. Give me a like, subscription, and thumbs up. Till next time. Soldier up, y'all. Peace.